Streetlight bleeds on cracked concrete. You press against the cold incomplete. One ear twitching at my tread, two ribs rising barely fed. 3 steps closer through the downpour, 4 walls waiting past this door. The wind holds its breath as I reach. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every shiver turns to time. No more wandering in the gray. You are known in every way. 5 towels dry your matted matted for 6 hours watching you stir. 7 breaths steady on the floor. 8 dreams knocking at the door. 9 mornings seeing you sit tall. 10 times you didn't flinch at all. The dawn spills gold across the sill. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every shiver turns to time. No more shadows in your stare. You got warmth beneath your hair. 11 walls without a chain. 12 meals shared in patient rain. 13 nights you rest your head. 14 reasons hope's not dead. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every shiver turns to time. No more counting wounds. Streetlight bleeds on cracked concrete. You press against the cold incomplete. One ear twitching at my tread. 2 ribs rising barely fed. 3 steps closer through the downpour. 4 walls waiting past this door. The wind holds its breath as I reach. And now your heart beats next to mine. Every shiver turns to time. No more wandering in the gray. You are known in every way. 5 towels dry your matted fur. 6 hours watching you stir. 7 breaths steady on the floor. 8 dreams knocking at the door. 9 mornings seeing you sit tall. 10 times you didn't flinch at all. The dawn spills gold across the sill.